fine. I'm not expecting you to remember my name or how to pronounce it. If you really want to look me up, put TZ in LinkedIn, and I'll be the only one there. So I'm a back-end engineer, and I'm really interested personally in machine learning and how machine learning can enable us to do more and spend less time on the annoying bits of the process and spend more time on kind of decision making that can drive our businesses forward. Let's see if it works. Laura, is that the point that I'm like? No? Don't have it? Yeah, please button. No? Right.
Doesn't like happening.
I guess I'm staying here. Cool. So, I'm working at LIFO. And LIFO, I think around 90% of our clients, are charities. And we help them kind of move forward from pen and paper, Excel spreadsheets, into something a bit more current, sophisticated, and hopefully by the time they get there, they are eager to take it to the next level, to the next step, to make sure that they are joining, the 21st century. We have two main divisions at the moment. One is the platform, which you can really, as a charity, you can sign up, you can track your social media, run campaigns, and we have the other team, which is the services team, which I'm part of. And we are helping charities to kind of taking them the whole process from zero to hero with Salesforce. So some of our charities never worked with Salesforce before, and we are presenting Salesforce to them as a whole platform of opportunity to run their charities better and forward, and as a result, give the actual beneficiaries more money at the end of the day, which what we all want as people who give for charity, right? Okay, so setting expectations. So we talked in the morning about data and processes and events and kind of how everything needs to be in place. What I'm not going to talk about is I'm not going to talk about the actual product, because we already heard about before about Einstein, or demo the different products and how you can use them, because you have Trailhead for that, and it's amazing. Everything I learned about Einstein products is from Trailhead, and the person who's writing the Trailhead, she is doing an amazing job trying to make sure that we also laugh in the process of learning. So really check it out. What I am going to talk about is kind of to give you an overview of machine learning in general, not specifically to Salesforce, and then suggest some steps that you might want to take once you enable Einstein within your organization. And this is kind of, I'm talking about charities, but obviously you can take everything and put it into your own business processes. So if we're looking at the important questions, what, why, and which, what is machine learning? What are the different types of machine learning? Why use it? And which one to use? So when we hear the word, the couple of AI, it can be really, really overwhelming. And there's a good reason for that. It's because it includes so many things within this simple, 2 letters topic. So one of them is machine learning. And machine learning is right now the most, the most used tool out there, and the most one that's being democratized through big companies, Salesforce included, like we heard earlier. And it's a subset of artificial intelligence. We have 2 types of, when we're talking about machine learning specifically, we have the supervised machine learning and the unsupervised machine learning. And that's where deep learning comes into place, which is the unsupervised. We're not we not necessarily know what to expect at the end of it. Whereas with supervised machine learning, you will have more of a clear, this is what I'm expecting the model to spit out, and this is also how I know if the model is actually doing what it's supposed to be doing or not. We can verify it very quickly as humans. So why use it? Well, like we heard earlier, you already use it, and we talked a bit about Amazon earlier, and Amazon uses a lot of machine learning to make sure everything is being tracked properly, and to make sure that they are collecting all the data that they want to collect to make sure their business is moving forward, and their decision-making people are able to get all this information. One of the most famous one that I bet most of you heard about was the AlphaGo, which was, this is real AI. You can't say it's just machine learning. You can't say it's just deep learning. You can't say it's just visual analysis. It's all of this together into one product, and that's why it's being referred to as AI. So if you kind of want to talk about something more specific within your business, I think machine learning is a really, really, really great place to start. And which one to use? I'm thinking that Einstein is pretty good place to start. We're all using Salesforce, so why not? So AI as a service. So we have a few cases within the charity world. Chatbots. Chatbot can be different levels. Sometimes you know them as the chatbot on a website does not make any sense. You ask a few questions and the answer you get back is so random, and it's okay, probably there are a lot of if and else statement in the background. If you recognize this one word there, then the output should be this one. And then you can take it to a really high level of machine learning and deep learning and language analysis, and have really ongoing reinforcement learning models that become really, really good at taking the copy that you already have on your website. You already spent all that time and money and marketing resources, making sure this text is presenting you as a brand. Take all of that, put it into a chatbot. So that's what Authorizes Research UK and Microsoft Watson worked at. So just utilizing already what you have and bringing it in a more accessible way to the people, to the user who actually will benefit from it. Live translations, we have the Children's Charities and Microsoft AI Translations tool, using it real time, live, to communicate with their beneficiaries to make sure that there are less barriers in the middle, and access to academic paper. So Meta, I don't know if you're familiar with this company, was purchased by Chen and Zuckerberg institutions, and we talked earlier about events. It's kind of a huge event-driven platform, whereas the moment it sees that, notice that something was published online on this specific topic, it will then push it to the subscribers. So you will never miss an article about a topic that you're interested in. They are specific at the moment about biometrical research, but I've been told that once they will be happy with it, they will kind of start and do it for other areas as well. Another case study is Parkinson's UK. And the question that they raised as an organization when they were reaching out for machine learning was, who else on our supporters database might prove responsive to a fundraising cash appeal mailing campaign? So they looked at their database, said, we already have all the information we need, but we're not utilizing it properly. So we're missing opportunities within the data that we already have and work so hard to keep clean and up to date. They used machine learning, 2 models, and the result was amazing. It boosted their cash donation by a lot. And they used 2 models. One was kind of saying, who are the best giver, so give a categorization, more approach to analyze your database. And then the second one was to identify the supporter who will periodically been giving and have not been in contact for this specific campaign. These two together were a massive success for them in their recent campaigns, and they'll keep on using that. So, Salesforce Einstein everywhere. Originally, this slide was so full of information. I was just like going through all Salesforce resources, picking up all the different products, putting them together on the slide, and then when I showed it to people in my company, they were like, it's like too much. But these are just the headlines. I filled this slide previously with all the different products that you have in each one of them. And even if the name sounds very repetitive, they're not. They're tailored specifically to that cloud and helping you guys to make sure that you get the most out of your data within the context of your cloud. So kind of what you need to keep in mind is you have the readiness tool on the side in your org. I don't know if some of you actually been looking into it. Someone actually checked if their org is Einstein ready? No? Okay. You can run in the same way, almost the same way as you would for if your org is Lightning ready. You can do the same if your org is Einstein ready. And this is really referring to what Laura talked about this morning, is to make sure you have everything in place. The earlier you know about the barrier, the easier it will be to solve them on time when you actually want to use Einstein. I'm going to focus on kind of the steps before and after with these kind of two main, say, divisions. Einstein Analytics, also known as WAVE, and Einstein Platform, which is the general one, which includes also the vision analysis, which now has, since a month and a half ago, three new trailheads. So if you want to check it out, really cool ones. Out of this, what is really been using kind of predictions and a way to move forward your business with machine learning are these two, the Prediction Builder and Einstein Discovery. And I recently heard about also non-profit cloud. So this is a cloud that is expected to come around December, which will have a lot of Einstein integrated, functionality integrated, so kind of taking everything Salesforce learned throughout different clouds, putting it together to help charities. How cool is that, right? Okay, so what can these Einstein products do for you? On Trailhead, you'll see it as capture, learn, and connect. That's the way it's being presented over and over. And beautiful diagram. It's the steps that kind of if we're talking about the model process. So you capture all the data, then there's some learning going on, and then you use that insight to connect to your users. From when I reviewed that, I was like, I think that's a missed opportunity. You can discover new insight and predict the outcomes, but I wouldn't necessarily use the word learn. Because we are the humans, we're not doing the active learning at this point yet. So in order for us to get to the point of automating the tasks, I would suggest using the 3 C's. So capture, correlate, and connect. And this is really, really, really key point in machine learning. It's not really learning in sense of causality. It's only correlation. So there is a very famous research done about the proportion between your index finger and your ring finger, and how some insurance companies can use it to make you pay more, because people who have a specific ratio between these fingers are more likely to take risks, are more likely to be in an accident, in a car accident. Therefore, their premium should be higher. But it's just a correlation, right? It's not a causation. It's not like, oh, I've been born with this difference in my fingers, and therefore I'm a risk taker. It's just a correlation. The same is with your data. The fact that you are able to get insight is just because you're collecting it right now. If you're not collecting the cause as the data for this change, you will never get the causation. You will always be with a correlation. Salesforce put a lot of effort in kind of making it really fun for us to learn. I love that. I love Trailhead and the way it's structured and all the kind of cool tool. For this actual map, there are a lot of ways to get, not only from Trailhead, but also from analytics and discovery. If you click on the cog at the top or the question mark at the top, you can get to this map really, really easily. And it's not only that you'll get to this map, you will get to this map within the context of where you are at the moment. So if you're trying to do something relating to building, it will be on the second step. So it will give you exactly, it's kind of, yeah, keep you exactly at the point that you need without going backwards or forward and trying to figure out this mess on your own. I have to say, like, I'm not using Salesforce for as long as most of you guys. I started using Salesforce less than a year ago. I started August 2017. And the first thing I noticed as a back-end engineer coming into Salesforce is the fact that I can just start my own developer org and try everything out. Other companies, other CMS organizations will not allow it. You will have to pass tests, pay a lot of money, make sure you're working for the right company, and then you start playing around with the technology. And for me, being able just to have a developer org with analytics and discovery and play around with it and try to understand our data within Lightful, this was amazing. So after that, I kind of like, give it a go. You have tomorrow, still the weekend. And yeah, and it's free and easy to start a developer org. You all know that, I hope. Okay, so kind of coming up into my journey. So like I said, we're working a lot with charities, and I really like this subject of machine learning. And when I learned about Einstein, I was like, this is amazing. And then the next step for me was like, okay, where do I start this amazing thing? Like, how can I possibly use it myself? And I was sure that someone already wrote something, like usually we have in the dev community, like all I need to put into Google is a few keywords and I will get a few blogs and YouTubes and articles, and this is how you do it, and this is how we implemented it, and what to do and what to avoid. But nope, I couldn't find anything that kind of gave me the answer of how to use this specific product for charities. The steps that they need to take before, the steps they need to take after, and I thought to myself, like, well, if I can't find the answer, I guess I'll have to do it myself. Did you notice it's like the emojis here are so similar, like the one that is thinking, the one with the monocle. It's like just laziness, no? I'm joking. So, kind of, if we talked about persona earlier, I put myself as a persona in this process. What I know, what I don't know. So, who am I? I'm a small charity. I'm using Salesforce. I have small budget for IT, and my data is amazing. Like, yes. Amazing, like I keep everything up to date, I don't have missing fields, everything is clean, everything is correctly formatted, no like 3 days data loading, it just goes like half an hour, all done. my objectives for this. I want to identify the best fundraising processes. If it's a charity also working with grants, they might want to look into this, trying to identify grants that will be applicable for them. To research potential supporter online in a more personal and intelligent way. I think we all have this, especially if you're using Facebook, that you have this random ad coming at you. It's like, okay, one is like, what the hell do you know about me that made you put this ad there? And two, you feel like it's not relevant to you, it's not personalized to you, it's just there and it's in your way. When it comes to charities, it's a big hurdle for them, because that means that you're not supporting them, you're not engaging with them, they're not being able to help their beneficiaries as much as they should. Unlock hidden trends in the beneficiaries' behaviors, which is again something that is the other end, not necessarily we think about, which is the users of the charities and how they benefit from the charity being efficient. And my biggest challenge was to figure out what to do with the data I have, because like I said, my data is amazing. It's the best data ever. But what do I do with it? And maybe I'm missing something. Maybe on the current object that I have within my org, I'm not collecting something. And because I'm not collecting that specific point, when I'm running my analysis, the correlation is going to be completely off. I will not get the full picture. Right. So how does it work? The difference between generating reports and using predictive tools is the training. So if we talked earlier about don't ask a question about training set, you can ask me as much as you want. I'm going to talk about two types of machine learning, regression and classification. So regression is, from statistics, is to do more with numbers. So you have your different, let's say these are different fields on the actual object. Yeah. Or if it's something that you can generate from a report. Yeah, it's from the model point of view is going to be the same. You have the type, which is a word, a language that we associate with a meaning, and then you have the number. The number here is the numeric value on these products will say, okay, there is a continuum, and the higher it gets, the better it will get. So that's what we have here in terms of donation, and we were looking at number 4, row 4. So can you try and figure out what's going to be there, like for 2017? I think it's kind of challenging for us to try and do that, and as human, but if we take Einstein product and try to do it with Prediction Builder, we might be able to do it. So we start at the very beginning. This is the training set. In order for us to know if Prediction Builder is working and we set it up in the correct way, we need to have this 2017 for row number 4. We need to know exactly what the data is. Once we're happy with the model, great, let's take it to the next step. I'm happy with the model, it's working exactly like I want. When I'm dividing training tests and test data sets, I'm getting exactly the outputs that I'm expecting. Let's take it to the future. What's going to be the future for the people who I currently have, the supporters I currently have in my database? The other side of it is classification. So if regression is with numbers, classification will be with words. And I think you see it a lot in these products as the words dimensions. You have a dimension that according to that you filter. So taking the same data that you already have and then you analyze it differently. I have the donations. At the end of it, I want to have the category. Is it a long-term supporter or a short-term supporter? Right? It's the same data. I already have the data. Why not use it in multiple ways to get this insight? So for someone who works in sales, it will be a coming back client, like in Amazon. Are they likely to buy this product? this will be the classification for them. Based on that, the target in marketing strategy will be completely different. I'm not going to market the same way for a person who's going to interact with my platform only once, and market in the same way for someone who's coming back again and again to my platform. Okay, so this type of machine learning implementation, like I said earlier, data is everything. And I know, like we said this sentence so many times today, so I'm not going to drill into this. I'm going to ignore my notes for now. I just want to have a quick word about GDPR. The way at the moment that Einstein Discovery is working is that you cannot set weights to fields. Therefore, when you select an object to analyze, and you select the fields to analyze, they all get the same weight at the beginning, and then the model is doing the calculation at the background, figure out which one is going to be the best indicator, the field itself is going to be the best indicator, and provide you with this output. So please, if you have something for, I don't know, anything that has to do with giving money to people, make sure that all these GDPR fields, like gender, are excluded from the model. So yeah, just keep an eye for it. Critical point to think about. No one knows your organization as well as you do. So even when Einstein Discovery comes back, and really, I cannot stress it enough, all you need to do is start a developer org with Einstein Discovery. You don't have to have it connected with your Salesforce data. You can upload a CSV, yeah, just to see how it works. It's amazing. It gives you so many insights on the spot. It will not take more than 10 minutes to run through your whole data set. And in Einstein Analytics, you can also have like 50 CSVs for one report, which is like a lot. And it's been, yeah, it's just amazing what you can do with this amount of data. But be mindful, because the wording that is there to guide you through the insight can be misleading if you don't have the confidence and you don't understand your business. So it seems like this field, when this field has this value, it's affecting the other object field over there. And you're like, wait a second, that cannot be right. It might have nothing to do with it. It's just you included a field that should not be included in the analysis. It has nothing to do with it. But somehow there is a really strong correlation, so we picked it up. Ask questions at every stage of the process. I really enjoyed throughout the day. I don't know if you noticed, but the speakers, all the kind of pushed us towards is asking questions, which I love. Just ask questions about every step. Why do I need it? Is it really necessary? What am I going to get out of it? Do I really need the whole thing, or just a little bit will be enough for me to get to the next step? Machine learning is only as good as your data. Again, look for actionable insights. I feel like people who make decisions higher up in our organizations really like insights. But if we're providing insights that are just like, okay, cool, we have 95% of our users doing this thing, and we cannot come up with an actionable insight out of that, we cannot come up with an action, a call to action after that, then all this time that you put into analyzing your data is worthless from a business point of view. Be curious, like I said, ask a lot of questions all the time. So what I'm going to go through now are two examples. Again, have to do with the donations and charities. So if we're looking at anonymous donation process, kind of out of nowhere, you're connecting to the website, you're donating, and then after you make the donation, you have other objects within your organization. And from there, like, the sky is the limit. So I'm focusing on this step. I made the donation, yeah, supporter details, I provided it, but I'm not taking it to the next level. I'm not registering for the charity, I don't know, email, newsletter. So, starting to ask questions. Why supporters are not moving on to the next step? What humans, we as people, and it's also something that was said earlier, need to know in order to answer this question. Don't think about what the computer, like the algorithm needs to know. Think about what you need to know as a person to make that decision. The whole point is to make sure that the model is working correctly, that you are able to validate it, and then you can just put it aside, automate that task, and make time for something more meaningful and that you will really enjoy. How many got to this step and didn't complete the registration? Do the initial details match existing supporters I already have on my database, and therefore they didn't move to the next step? Do they have something in common? Depending on the analytics that you take from the page, for example. Can you predict, based on your current data, if future supporters who are going through the same flow will skip registration? I'm stressing here the same flow, because if you change one word within the flow, this one word might have been the trigger for some user not to go on and register. You have to keep it exactly as is when you're making your analysis to make sure that you get the correct actionable insights later on and be able to really manifest it properly if it comes to copy change or even when you are asking for this information. Another example, if we're talking about donation, is for users already registered. So if I already connected myself to a charity and I get their newsletters, I will get a call to action in an email. Please support us. We have this campaign. It's different slightly to what we had last year, but we really need your help. Kind of the regular reach out that we are very familiar with. We're going through the process. We have the campaign information, right, on the email, and then you click on the call to action. You get to the page. You have a bit more of information, and then you have the call to action for making the donation. And then after that, you have a plea sometimes. Now it's becoming more often of doing a direct debit. Would you be happy to support us once a month for £3 or once a year for £20? So in this kind of situation, every step on its own needs its own analysis again. The question remained the same. Like, it didn't matter at this point. I just want to improve. I'm not asking something very specific. I chose to look at these two as a step between them. The campaign info, so I clicked from the email on the call to action, got to the page of the campaign, didn't make the donation, didn't support the charity. So I'm going to go through these questions really quickly because they come up the same. I'm kind of leaving out a few so you can spark your own. I'm hoping to spark your curiosity and you can ask these questions. Just ask a lot of questions and try kind of to be as specific as possible. Okay, so you have your data, you put it through discovery, Einstein Analytics, you got your reports, you got your insights, you ask the questions, now what? Skip. Yeah, so we talked already about actionable insights. Yeah, that's what I want to get to. So you get recommendations from Einstein Discovery. It's so cool. You have a drop down in the actual UI, and you can say, I want to analyze what happened before, and that is kind of a report generation algorithm. And then you can say, I want to see why it happened, and then it will be a different kind of algorithm going into the correlation between the different fields. And then you can ask, okay, what will happen in the future? Which you get, it's really just switching the drop down. That's it. And you get like all these insights that you can later look into, drill into with graphs, to later on present to people who make decisions in the company and say, look, if we change this thing, this will happen. If we are pushing to make sure this value here increase a little bit, then it will have this effect on the whole flow. You have opportunity here for A/B testing. So you can take the flow as is and then say, I'm going to reach out to people in this way, and I'm going to reach to people in a different way. And this is an amazing opportunity to collect more data. When you contact these people, your users, when did you contact them? How did you contact them? Who was the person who contacted them? Was it like someone they already knew by name or a completely new one? Based on that, you can make sure that the next time, if you make this analysis, the next time you're contacting your users, you can save a lot of time and money because you already have the insights. You can adjust your process afterwards. You should adjust your process afterwards. Maybe you need, like I said, to ask for this information at a different time. And then this is like the really key one for me as a back-end engineer. If you have insights, sometimes it's not enough to just change the logic in the background. You need to change your UX and UI to make it more friendly to your users and make sure they are being kind of handheld through the process, getting them to where you want them to go. So if I want a call to action and my button is at the bottom of the page, not have a great visibility, UX has to change. It doesn't matter like how much I will change on the logic in the back end. If UX is not working, it's just not working. And then repeat. We talked about the agile process, the same. You ask questions, you look into it, you analyze, you change, and you repeat to make sure you're always becoming better. So the last thing is, where do you start? Where do you start? Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, Monday. The smaller the context, the better the outcome. You want small wins because you want to feel confident. You want your business to feel confident. You want to see how it actually works. So small wins. And then use Einstein Discovery to spark your curiosity because, like I said, it's just, it's a drop down. You take another value in that drop down. You get a whole lot of insights for the same data set that you put in. That's it. Thank you.